And I trained at Gokor Hayastan with Sensei Jean LaBelle and Benny Leggett in Gokor. And I did that from 12, 13 years old until I was about 19. And then I booked Handmaid's Tale and Euphoria. And I was like, oh, I can't fight and film at the same time because I'd come home with bruises. So I put it to the side, but I always wanted to find a story that would be able to bring that side of myself out.
But you're a 13-year-old girl. Like, what does fighting give you at that time in your life?
The element of surprise.
Ooh.
I was the only girl there. So it was a lot of talk of, oh, what is she doing here? The dads were kind of a little like upset that their sons would be fighting a girl. And then I would sometimes win.
Okay, so I have this sense that you're someone who keeps a strong division between your characters and your personal self. And I just wondered if that is harder when you've done this physical transformation for a character like Christy. Like, you come home or come back to your hotel room, like, in her body in some ways.
I actually learned so much more about myself throughout the process. And I am someone who I build my book for my character and I learn everything about her life so that I can fully jump in and out. And throughout that process of building Christy and working with Christy and filming the movie, I started realizing, I was like, oh, wow, I actually have more in common with her than I realized. She is fighting a fight in her home life and she's also fighting a fight in the public. And I think that for me, I find myself in a lot of battles, both in front and not in front of the world. So I definitely can relate.
I mean, Christy is a story about domestic violence and specifically like homophobia in domestic violence. And The Housemaid, which I also saw, takes on domestic violence from in a totally different genre. And then I did read that your American Eagle collection benefited a domestic violence charity. Is that, do I have all that right?
Yes.
Okay. We spent a lot of time this year working around that issue, and I just wondered if it meant something to you.
It does. I will always speak out about something that is important to me. And for me to speak out, I use art. And I think that through my characters in my movies, it's a way for me to be able to do my part that I can and spread awareness in different ways through my characters. And that's how I've always learned to communicate. And it's really important.
If I look at your IMDb page,
Okay.
I'm thinking about, you know, you're on Euphoria, which is a show that covers a lot of topics without, you know, taking a moral stance on any of them. And you did Reality, which I love, which like brought a lot of attention and humanity to the story of Reality Winner, the whistleblower. It does not look like a very political career, but you have become very swept up in politics. And so I wondered if that has surprised you as you put your ideas and yourself into art, not commentary.
I've always believed that I'm not here to tell people what to think. I'm just here to kind of open their eyes to different ideas. And so I think that's why I gravitate towards characters and stories that are complicated and are maybe morally questionable, and characters that are on the page hard to like, but then you find the humanity underneath them. And that's what I've always leaned towards.
I think a lot of people feel like it's better for art if artists can